What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are actually going to continue our coverage over John Byrne's Wonder Woman's run, because when it comes to John Byrne, he did an amazing job when it came to Wonder Woman as a writer, but also an artist as well. Now, we already covered his first two storylines with him taking over the character in the middle of the 1990s. But his third story is very crucial. And the reason why, because we do begin to see the process of Wonder Girl being made. But at the same time, though, we're also going to see Wonder Woman fight against Doomsday. And that right there is really crazy. Now, you have to remember, at this point in DC Comics, Superman is alive again. He was supposedly killed off by Doomsday. Of course, you all know he really wasn't. And he's now back in the picture. But of course, with Doomsday just showing up randomly in this story right here, the entire world is freaking out because everybody remembers what Doomsday has done to Superman. Now, you're probably wondering, how in the world did Doomsday come back? Well, let me explain by diving into today's story. And the reason why I said earlier that we are going to see more progress when it comes to Cassandra Sandmark becoming Wonder Girl, because when we actually jump into Wonder Woman number 109, we actually do pick up with Diana right now actually training Cassandra Sandmark. Now, the way it's kind of given to us is at the opening pages of this book, you do have a plane right now flying into Gateway City. And of course, they're heading towards the airport. But that is the moment you do have the pilot tell his passengers, look out the window. You'll see a great view of Gateway City. But on top of that, you're gonna see a young girl flying. How in the world is that possible? And of course, it is Cassandra Sandmark right now flying around Gateway City, because we come to find out that apparently Diana gave her the sandals of Hermes. Now, when it comes to the sandals of Hermes, of course, it gives Cassandra the ability to actually fly around Gateway City. And so that is why I say we're beginning to see the process of Cassandra Sandmark becoming Wonder Girl. And as the story goes on, you're going to see more and more clues just pop up left and right, where it shows that we're going to have a new Wonder Girl down the road when it comes to John Byrne's run. Either way, right now, you do actually have Diana trying to teach Cassandra how to use the sandals of Hermes, because right now it is a very difficult thing to learn. You have to know it by heart, because if you don't, you're gonna crash into a building like Cassandra almost did a few times. But of course, with Diana being there for her and kind of guiding her, she does get a tad bit better with it, but she's not perfect with it. But of course, all she needs is just some practice, and maybe sooner or later, she'll be good when it comes to the sandals of Hermes. But then you have Diana take Cassandra back home to her house. And so that is the moment where we kind of find out that Diana is actually babysitting Cassandra Sandmark, only because right now Helena is away with Jason Blood. Now remember, Jason Blood is Etrigan the Demon. And matter of fact, in our last video, Jason Blood and Helena met, and they both left Gateway City for some small things here and there, but of course, they'll be back down the road. But while they're gone, Diana is watching over Cassandra. Now, this is the moment where you do have Cassandra kind of tell us that she's trying to have a hard time remembering the true identity of Jason Blood. Because remember, Jason Blood is Etrigan the Demon. Everybody saw him turn into that demon in our last video, but the Phantom Stranger put a mental block in her mind so that she'll not be able to actually remember that Jason Blood is a demon. But she does say over and over again that she did see Jason Blood change, but unfortunately, she's unable to actually remember the change. Either way, right now, you didn't have Diana say they have to change because they do have lunch or dinner with Mike. And of course, remember, Mike is the officer that we met in our first video when it comes to John Byrne run on Wonder Woman. He's an officer for Gateway City. Now, this is also John Byrne trying to throw hints out there that maybe Diana is going to end up with Mike, because Mike has been in both stories so far and now this one as well. And of course, it seems like her and Mike might actually get together down the road because they do have a very strong bond with one another. And matter of fact, you do have Cassandra kind of point out that when it comes to her mother and Jason Blood, it does seem like those two characters might get together, but then she mentions Diana and Mike because the way Mike looks at her, she believes that Mike might actually ask out Diana down the road. Now, when they do arrive at the restaurant to have dinner or lunch with Mike, apparently he also brought his sister along, Maureen. Now, of course, for the storyline right here, she's honestly not that important for right now. Either way, while you do have the four characters just eating food together, that is the moment you have a huge sonic boom happen in the middle of Gateway City. And the question is, though, right now, what just happened? Because it literally rocked the whole neighborhood that Diana's in right now. And she's freaking out wondering who is attacking Gateway City. And that is the moment she goes outside and she sees the Flash. And it looks like right now the Flash is actually attacking Gateway City. And that right there is very confusing because why in the world would Flash attack Gateway City for? Now, right off the bat, you have Diana realize this is not Wally West. Because remember, in the 1990s, our Flash was Wally West, no one else. And so right now it's Diana saying, that does not look like Wally West, but I only know Wally West being the Flash, which means that this is most likely a false Wally West. Either way, I have to stop him before he does more harm to Gateway City. And so now it's Diana trying to catch the fastest man alive in the middle of Gateway City, which honestly is going to be a huge task for her to actually accomplish. Now, we get into the moment where you do have John Byrne be the usual John Byrne. And what I mean by that is, if you've seen our earlier videos, even though you have Diana right now dealing with a current problem, you have John Byrne begin the process of building up the next storyline down the road. And so when it comes to this storyline right now, we are actually getting introduced to a new character known as Champion. Now, Champion is going to be a very interesting character down the road. And you see what I mean as we go through our coverage over John Byrne's Wonder Woman's run. But apparently when it comes to Champion, it does seem like he does have ties to Olympus, of course, Zeus and all those gods. Either way right now, it does seem like apparently Champion has some kind of beef with Diana. And apparently he wants to defeat her somehow down the road. Either way, this is John Byrne giving us a new character to see in this storyline, but of course to cause problems for later stories down the road. And so then we jump back over to Diana right now, trying to catch the Flash. Now, of course, it's not going to be an easy task because you're talking about the idea of trying to chase down someone who's known as the fastest man alive. It's not going to be an easy task. And so you do have Diana try so many different things to actually help her be able to capture the Flash, but unfortunately, she's just unable to actually do it. Now, at first she does fail, but then she realized, what if I get ahead of him, use my rope as a way to actually trip him? And that what she does. It throws him off balance and she's able to actually capture him. Now, this leads into the big shocking moment because once she does capture him, she's wondering, okay, why in the world is Wally West out here being a menace to my city? Because she met the Flash and she knows the Flash. She knows it's Wally West, except when she unmasks him, it's not Wally West. It's Barry Allen. Now, this right here is very huge because remember, Barry Allen died back on Crisis on Infinite Earth back in 1986. And so Wally West took his place as the Flash. But unfortunately right now, Diana has Barry Allen, not Wally West. But this is where things get a tad bit crazier because then you have Barry Allen just explodes. He explodes into this random huge amount of dust particles that fall from the sky all over our characters like Cassandra, Diana, and also Mike. but now they're wondering what in the world had actually happened to the Flash, Barry Allen. And so that is the moment where we actually jump over to Dr. Lazarus. Now, when we do, we have to remember that Dr. Lazarus is actually someone we met in our last video, but he was someone who was working on a new kind of experiment where, of course, it was going to be the idea that he was going to be able to make AIs of people or animals so that people have a way to bond with something or someone else. And so his first trial run was bringing back his son's dead cat back to life, but as an AI. Now, he was actually able to pull it off at first, but then his lab blew up. Now, when his lab blew up, of course, his son died. And because the death of his son, you had Dr. Lazarus actually blame himself for the death of his son. And so with that, he made another AI. And this AI is, of course, his son. Now, here comes the big problem, though, because this AI is using the mind of the dead Chris, a young boy. And so this AI has to learn everything about the world, but also the idea that he is an AI who's right now stuck inside a machine. And so right now, Dr. Lazarus has his AI version of his son Chris right now trying to play a video game. The problem is, though, the video game he's playing right now, every single time he uploads a character into this video game, they appear in the real world. And so right now, when he came to the Flash, that's the reason why the Flash was attacking Gateway City, because Chris is playing the game right now, and because he was playing this game when he had uploaded the Flash, of course it made some artificial version of the Flash to run around Gateway City. Now, here comes the next problem though, because that was just level 1. Level 2 is a Green Lantern level, and the question is right now, is Diana about to face against the Green Lantern? And so getting into Wonder Woman number 110, we come to find out that right now, it's not going to be the Green Lantern to fight against Diana. It's going to be Sinestro. Now remember, this Sinestro is not real. This is a fake Sinestro, because right now, Chris over there, the AI Chris, is thinking that he's right now playing the game. And so the next character that he had uploaded and of course had created some kind of artificial life is Sinestro. And right now you have Sinestro just going around Gateway City causing a whole lot of problems. Now, that is the moment you do have this fake Sinestro actually burn the name Wonder Woman into the city so that other helicopters can see it and be like, okay, Sinestro wants her for some strange reason. We have no idea why, but we need to get this message out there so that she can handle him and stop him before he causes more problems to Gateway City. But then we jump over to Diana, Cassandra, Helena, and Mike. They're all right now hanging out in Helena's house. Of course, the mother to Cassandra. Either way, while they're hanging out, that is the moment you do have Mike tell Diana about the new character known as Champion. Remember, Champion is some random person who wants to deal with Diana, and that's all we know so far. But apparently he had appeared in Gateway City, and he has begun the process of actually saving people. And so right now to Diana, she's wondering, who is this new character known as Champion? Either way, that is the moment you have Mike tell Diana, hey, we got a problem right now in Gateway City that you need to go handle because apparently this person wants to see you. And so you do have Diana actually go over to meet Sinestro since he was calling her out by burning her name into the city. Either way, when she does arrive, Sinestro doesn't talk. And matter of fact, when it came to Barry Allen in the last chapter, he also did not talk. He just ran around Gateway City. And so when it came to Sinestro right now, he's doing the same thing. He's not talking, but he is attacking Diana. Now, Diana knows who he is, and the reason why, because of the Green Lanterns. They have told her about him, but the thing is, she realized that right now, he's being very clumsy with his powers, meaning that he's not acting like the usual Sinestro, someone who knows to actually use their powers to their full intent. Right now, this Sinestro is having a hard time actually using his powers. Now, that right there tells you it's Chris. Chris is slowly learning how to use each character's abilities because to him, he's playing a game right now. And so right now, when it comes to Sinestro, he's trying to learn how to use the powers of Sinestro. And so at first, it's going to be a tad bit clumsy. Either way right now, it's Diana realizing she has to stop him. Now, while she fights against him, and of course the entire city is watching this on their TVs, that is the moment you have Cassandra and Helena get a phone call from somebody. And that person would be Wally West. Because right now it's Wally West saying, hey, listen, I got information about what happened in Gateway City. I seen the pictures and everything. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, that was not me. That was Barry Allen, the Flash before me, but he's been dead for years. So I have no idea how in the world it was possible for him to appear in Gateway City. And now that leads into more questions for our characters. We already know how because of Dr. Lazarus. But when it comes to Cassandra and Helena, they have no idea. And they're going to have to tell Diana once she deals with Sinestro. As a matter of fact, we do jump back over to Diana fighting against Sinestro. And while they're fighting against one another, you have Sinestro right now just attacking different parts of Gateway City. He is causing some heavy damage where Diana really can't just focus on him. She also has to help protect innocent people. Matter of fact, there is a moment where Homeboy actually cuts a bridge in half. And of course, half the bridge is going to fall into the river. And so right now, she has to use her super strength to keep that bridge up long enough so that people are able to actually escape the bridge. Either way, Sinestro right now is causing so much damage, Diana is not actually able to fight against him. She has to keep helping the innocent people. And to her, she realized she does need a second hand when it comes to actually handling Sinestro at the moment. And we do jump back over to our new character known as Champion. And like I said earlier, we have no idea who this champion person is, but apparently he wants to fight against Diana, but he doesn't want her to lose to anybody else. And so right now you have Champion say, listen, I saw the news and I saw that right now she's fighting against Sinestro. And it seems like she does need some help out there because if she doesn't, this city is going to be wrecked. And so you have our new character Champion say, let me go out there and actually help her defeat Sinestro. And so matter of fact, we do jump back over to Diana right now fighting against Sinestro. Now remember, this is not a real Sinestro. This is just Chris right now who have made some kind of artificial version of Sinestro because Chris right now is an AI with the mind of a 6-year-old, of a 9-year-old. And so either way right now, he has no idea the game he's playing is actually real. And so right now, he has learned more about the powers of Sinestro to the point where he's actually able to use the powers of Sinestro to go toe-to-toe with Diana, to the point where he's actually able to capture her. Now, that is the moment you do have Gateway City Police appear to hopefully help out Diana break free, but to also deal with Sinestro. But unfortunately, this Sinestro is just too strong for them as well. And so right now it seems like Diana is about to lose. But luckily, that is the moment you have Champion appear. Now, when he does appear, he does throw Sinestro around the area like nothing, which of course means now Sinestro has been defeated. But just like Barry Allen earlier, as soon as they're able to capture Sinestro, well, that is the moment he explodes, just like Barry Allen did in the last chapter. But then we jump over to Dr. Lazarus. And when we do, we actually do see Dr. Lazarus right now being confronted by his assistant. And the reason why, because she has heard the news about Sinestro and the Flash and the way they explode, but material that was left behind after they had exploded. And of course, she realized what's happening right now is all coming from Dr. Lazarus' machine, because this man was trying to make artificial version of dead things like cats and animals, but also people as well. And so she realized, oh my gosh, the Flash and Sinestro, they came from this laboratory, which means that the Chris AI right now is out there playing this game, but also making artificial life out of it. Now, here's the big thing though. She does tell us that even though Chris right now is an AI, Dr. Lazarus does plan to make him some kind of artificial body so that the AI can take over that body, so he'll be able to actually spend time with his son. But he was trying to work on that in secret. But she says, listen, the AI of Chris right now is using your machine right now to make artificial versions of different things like Sinestro and the Flash. He has to be stopped right now before things get out of hand. Now, of course, for Dr. Lazarus, he does not believe that his son did it, but if his son did, he'll say, listen, I'll talk to my son, the Chris AI, and I'll reason with him, and then everything should be okay. But to her, no, not good enough. Shut him down. But unfortunately, they're too late, because Chris is playing the next level in his game right now. And when it comes to the next level, of course, that level is Doomsday. And now we have an artificial version of Doomsday, the creature that had killed off Superman not too long ago. And so getting into Wonder Woman number 111, of course, we actually do pick up right now with Doomsday just attacking Gateway City, or making his way towards Gateway City, because apparently Diana has no idea that right now her city is being attacked by some crazy monster who had killed Superman not too long ago. But either way right now, it is Doomsday right now attacking Gateway City, or making its way towards Gateway City. Either way, you do have the police wonder, what in the world can they do? Because even they know that this was the being that had killed off Superman again not too long ago. And so technically, they're freaking out. But then we jump over to Diana, Mike, and Champion. Now, when we do, we actually see them right now testing out some materials that was left behind after the fake Flash and fake Sinestro had blew up. And the scientist right here who is helping them realize what's happening right now. Because when he was able to give it some kind of electricity to, of course, bring it to life, he realized that they were artificial beings. Because as soon as he gave it some power, they came to life. They grew in size. And that tells them, okay, this was some kind of artificial being. And matter of fact, I've seen this material before by Dr. Lazarus. He's the only person in the world, and luckily in Gateway City, who was working on something like this. If you find him, then maybe you should be able to actually figure out what in the world is going on. Now, that is the moment you do have a police officer run into the room where Diana, Champion, and Mike are in to tell Diana what's happening in Gateway City. And of course, it's Doomsday. And she knows Doomsday because, again, he had just killed off Superman not too long ago. And so now it's Diana saying, I have to go and stop Doomsday. Now, here comes the problem, though, guys. Even though Diana does have similar strength levels to Superman, I say similar, but not really. Like, she's up there, but of course, Superman is still stronger than she is. Either way, Doomsday is on Superman's level, which means that even though Diana is right there, just so close to Superman's level, it's not enough to stop Doomsday, because Doomsday is on Superman's level. And so when she does arrive to actually fight against Doomsday, you have Doomsday go ahead and say, oh, no, you gone and messed up now. Trying to stop me? Nah, homie, I'm going to beat you down. And you have Doomsday beat down on Diana. And she realized that she's in a tough situation right now, because Doomsday is up there with Superman. And where she's at right now, it's not close enough to be able to actually stop Doomsday. Now, here's the thing, though. When it comes to Diana, she is a warrior. She's not going to quit until she's dead. But on top of that, she's a more skilled fighter. Yes, she has super strength, and so does Superman. But she knows how to use that strength, and she's hoping it'll give her the edge over Doomsday. But then we jump back over to Dr. Lazarus. Now, this is Dr. Lazarus trying to reason with his son. And the reason why, because right now, his son keeps creating different beings that attack Gateway City. Now, with that being said, though, when it comes to his son, Chris, the AI, because remember, the original Chris is dead. But when it comes to this Chris right here, the AI, he does not understand what's happening right now because he has the mind of a 6-year-old. Or 7, 8, or 9. Either way, a young child. And so, yes, he is learning, but at the same time, his mind is still young and fresh. And so right now, in his eyes, he's confused on why in the world he sees everything through Doomsday's eye. But he can still hear his father speak to him. Because you have Dr. Lazarus tell his son, Chris, you are dead. You are technically an AI system right now. And right now, you're controlling beings that you had created by one of my other machines where I was going to bring to life artificial beings. I need you to stop. It's right now AI Chris learning everything that's going on right now with him and his father. But then we jump over to Champion. Now again, we still have no idea who this guy is, but we do know one thing. He does have super strength and very durable. Either way, right now, he does try to go up against Doomsday as a way to help out Diana. Except when he gets there and he does try his best to knock out Doomsday because this man believes that he is stronger than both Doomsday and Wonder Woman, you have Doomsday just turn around and smack Champion far, far away across the city to show that he was literally nothing to Doomsday. Now, this is where things get a tad bit worse, because that is the moment where you have Cassandra Sandmark say that she should be able to actually help out Diana to fight against Doomsday, which honestly, she can't, but she's going to try, because we do see her go to her room and she does grab the sandals of Hermes, but she also grabs something else, and these bracelets are going to technically help her try to fight against Doomsday. Now, when it comes to these bracelets, we're going to learn more about these bracelets, but for right now, she's going to put them on to hopefully help her defeat Doomsday. And she does fly over there, and she does announce herself to the world in some horrible disguise, and she says, "Call me Wonder Girl." And so this begins the idea of Wonder Girl coming into DC Comics. But that is the moment where you actually have Doomsday smack Cassandra Sandmark away. I mean, literally, homeboy smacked her away, sent her flying. And luckily, she survived the smacking because honestly, she should be dead. But either way, she does survive. Now, you do have Diana run over there to make sure that she is okay. But the problem is, though, because Diana's now watching her back, because right now she's trying to make sure that Cassandra is okay, Doomsday is able to catch her off guard and beat down on her even more, to the point where this man's just knocking her all over the place. It does look like most likely Doomsday is about to kill off Diana. And matter of fact, at the end of this chapter, he's right now has a bus in his hand and he plans to crush Diana with the bus. It looks like she's about to lose to Doomsday, which honestly makes sense because again, Doomsday is on Superman's level, and that man was killed off by this being right here. And so getting into Wonder Woman number 112, we actually do pick up right now with Hippolyta in Louisiana. Because remember, she left right after Diana had left the mascara. And so when Diana left the mascara, so did Hippolyta. But we had no idea where she went to. Well, now we know. Right now, she's working in some kind of kitchen and she's in Louisiana. Either way, it's a way for her to watch her daughter, but not be too close to her daughter. Watching from a distance. Either way, right now, she's hearing the news about her daughter about to be killed off by Doomsday. But getting back to where the last chapter left off at, where it did seem like Doomsday is about to kill off Diana, and of course, he's going to do it right now, that is the moment you have Champion come back in the picture to show us that he is okay. Even though earlier he was knocked away in the most funniest way, he does come right back in and say, you know what? Round 2, let's go. And matter of fact, Diana, I need your help to actually take this thing down. We have to work together because that is the only way that we are going to win against something like this right now. And so you do have the two characters actually work together to defeat this powerful being. But unfortunately, Doomsday is just too powerful. He's able to keep fighting on and beating down on Diana, but also beating down on Champion as well. But getting back over to Dr. Lazarus, that is the moment where you do have the police arrive. Because, of course, they got confirmation that he's the reason why everything's happening recently in the city with Sinestro, with the Flash, and now Doomsday. And so this is Mike saying, hey man, listen, I brought my team here. We're going to arrest you and take you away. Now, his assistant is quick to tell the officers, yes, it is him. He's the reason why the city's been attacked 3 times in the last few days with Doomsday, Sinestro, and also the Flash. You have to take him in now. But then we actually jump over to Superman. Now, this makes sense, guys, because like I said earlier, Doomsday is the person that had killed off Superman. But by this point in DC Comics, he was brought back to life. And so right now, he's just hanging out with his parents, doing some chores for them on the farm, the usual family stuff. Either way, that is the moment his dad comes and tells him, hey man, listen, Doomsday is back, and right now, he's fighting against Wonder Woman. Now, for Superman, he realized, oh my gosh, if Doomsday is back, and right now, he's fighting against Wonder Woman, she's going to be killed off by Doomsday. And so this is Superman saying, I have to go. I have to leave right now to actually help her because Doomsday is a very powerful being. He will kill her just like that. I have to go there right now. But getting back over to the battle with Doomsday, you still have Diana and also Champion trying their best to hopefully do something that could actually defeat Doomsday. But again, this is Doomsday. He's just too strong. He's just too powerful. And unfortunately for our heroes, they really can't do much to actually stop this guy. And so right now, they're about to lose to him. Now, this is where things get a tad bit annoying because that is the moment you have Cassandra wake up and say, oh my God, I remember what happened to me. Either way, I must help Diana and Champion fight against Doomsday. And so she does try to go back into battle once again. But this right here continues the idea that sooner or later, Cassandra is going to be the Wonder Girl of DC Comics. Either way right now, she does try to jump back in battle to help Diana and Champion fight against this Doomsday clone. And so that is the moment where we actually jump over to Dr. Lazarus telling Mike everything he needs to know. And you have Dr. Lazarus tell Mike, okay, let me explain what happened here. So my son died and I want to have my son back to life. And so I created a AI version of my son. And my goal was to make him an artificial body and then download the AI into that artificial body as a way to get my son back. But I had to keep my son busy long enough until I was actually able to make the AI a new body to be plugged into. And so he gave the AI the ability to control every single machine in the laboratory as a way to keep it busy long enough so that he'll be able to make a body for this Chris AI. Unfortunately, one of the machines in the laboratory is going around creating these beings like Doomsday and causing damage and deaths in the city. And so right now is Mike saying, this is all your fault. All because your son died, millions have died. You know what? I have to bring you in. But then that is the moment you have Decay appear. Now, Decay is an old villain of Wonder Woman, and she is the daughter of Medusa. And of course, like her name says, she can make things decay. Either way right now, she's also an artificial being because thanks to Dr. Lazarus keeping information about Decay, when it comes to the Chris AI, it now wants to play as Doomsday and Decay. And so now it brings more problems into the city. And so that is the moment where we actually do jump back over to Wonder Girl, Wonder Woman, and Champion trying to fight against Doomsday. Now, while the three characters are right now fighting against Doomsday, they're still having a hard time because this is Doomsday. He is a very powerful being. But then out of nowhere, we do get this quick like 2 or 3 panels where you do have the assistant being able to actually help Diana defeat Doomsday because she realized that the Doomsday creature is being controlled by the AI Chris. And so what she does next is she gives the Chris AI too much power to actually handle, send it to overdrive. And with it going into overdrive, so does Doomsday as well. And Doomsday turns into this crystallized version, which good for Wonder Woman because now she can use her super strength to actually smash the crystallized Doomsday and the day is saved. And the Chris AI is technically depowered or destroyed because it took too much power to handle, and of course it killed itself. And so now Dr. Lazarus has now lost his son not once but twice. Either way, he deserves to be locked up. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. And that's why I said, guys, we're going to have Diana fight against Doomsday, but also begin the process of introducing Wonder Girl into DC Comics. With that being said, though, guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.